Kraven the Hunter sounds like it's going to be a nightmarish debut.
It's I seen some tweets that it's projecting to make less than Madam Web in the box office.
This universe is dead, right?
Well, it was dead on arrival, man. Like a universe based on Spider-Man villains without introducing a Spider-Man. Spider-Man's not even in there. Not even as the perspective of maybe like trying to make him the villain, like a perspective from the actual villain about him fighting Spider-Man. That would be a unique idea, but they didn't fucking do it because they lent Spider-Man to Disney. And they're just trying to make Venom an anti-hero. Okay, we're gonna make Kraven an anti-hero, and it's like, oh, okay, well, Venom's villain is gonna be Carnage. It's just such a stupid fucking idea to try to have Venom be Venom without Spider-Man, and then Kraven without Spider-Man in these movies. It just doesn't work. Oh yeah, and Morbius too.
Yeah, and then Madam Web, where you introduce a bunch of spider heroes, but you still don't have Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, box office, Kraven the Hunter aims for week 15 million in opening weekend.
That's
and there
wild.
were reports that Sony may have even pulled it from some theaters, possibly. I don't know. But Kraven the Hunter could get declawed in its big screen debut. The comic book spinoff set in Sony's universe of Marvel characters is targeting a paltry 13 to 15 million from 3,200 theaters. That would even contend with February's misfire of Madam Web, with a $15 million debut for ignominious distinction for the lowest start among Sony-produced Marvel adventures. And the one thing you can look at with these movies is they're not $250 million. They're a little bit more controlled, but, you know, like Madam Web, I think was like 80, 90 million, somewhere around there. This one, Kraven, apparently $110 million. But holy shit, it's not going to bode well for you. Like, you're talking about less than $100 million worldwide by the end of its run, probably, you know, if these things hold steady. But I don't know, maybe they thought they'd get the fucking female audience in there with shirtless Kraven, but nobody has any appetite for these things if it's not connected to anything else.
Mm-hmm. Dude did get fucking jacked for this movie.
Yeah, I mean, he's in great shape, obviously. So I respect for getting into great shape for the role and respecting the role, but that's going to be a nightmare if this holds true. $12-13 million opening weekend. There's a lot of other things out there for people to watch, obviously. You know, Gladiator is out there, Wicked is out there, Moana is out there. Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim is also coming out. That's not going to do very well at the box office either, but of course, that's an animated Lord of the Rings movie. I don't know what appetite there was for that to begin with, but Kraven the Hunter does sound like it's going to be a poor end to this Sony Spider-Verse that is now officially dead after this movie.
Yep.
Spider-Verse with no fucking Spider-Man.
Yeah, so then, like, what's next? Because I seen, like, on Sony's slate, like, now they're specifically only focusing on Nick Cage's Spider-Man Noir, the third installment of the Miles Morales Spider-Verse movies, and now Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland, and potentially, you know, could be bringing back Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire for Spider-Man 4 as well. But, like, that's all Sony's working on right now for the future, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Now, I think that for Spider-Man 4, I think I think they're going to hold off on bringing back Andrew and Tobey in Spider-Man 4. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they show up in the big Avengers Secret Wars. They're probably going to be everybody there at some point.
Yeah.
But I do think they're going to try at least to stick to what they set up at the end of No Way Home, which was kind of friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Grounded.
A little more street level type of story. I hope they do that at least. But who knows? Maybe they will be tempted to just fucking pull that cord again and bring back those two other Spider-Men. But I think it's gonna be a little longer before we see them rather than just in Spider-Man 4.
Okay.
We'll see. Never know. I mean, to be honest, I would be down for Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 4. I would be down for Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man 3. Maybe more so than Tom Holland Spider-Man 4. But with all that being said, at the end of No Way Home, with the fact that they actually removed all of his, you know, parachutes from him and really separated from everything and put him in the little apartment, That's the type of story I wish we would have seen from Tom Holland's Spider-Man from the beginning.
Yes, 100%.
And at the end of that movie, I was more interested in a future Tom Holland Spider-Man story than I ever had at any point in the MCU.
100%. Yeah, that's where they should have started him off. What was like that exactly, and I think that's why they did it, because they heard the gripes of, oh, Iron Man Jr., look at all this tech. He didn't actually make his own gadgets. You know, Peter Parker is this. He's kind of a genius in making these web shooters and all this tech and the gadgets for himself, and he was just kind of given it to him by Tony Stark. And he always had this Tony Stark monkey on his back. And they really did it in Far From Home when they were in like Europe in the second movie. The whole like Tony Stark father figure thing, it didn't stick well with a lot of people. So, but what I don't understand with the whole Sony cinematic universe, what they were doing with these spinoffs, why didn't they just make that in the Andrew Garfield universe and just do two Spider-Mans at once? Okay, the Andrew Garfield, he has his Spider-Man universe over here with Venom and Morbius and Kraven, and you can actually have Spider-Man involved in those movies. And then just have Tom Holland Spider-Man be over in the MCU, and everybody wins. And Sony's actually making money because people do like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans, I think. Because his fan reaction, at least in my theaters, and I saw it twice, his fan reaction was louder than Tobey Maguire's was.
It was like they were both awesome, right? I think that time maybe has helped with the Andrew Garfield thing. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is not great.
Neither of them were good.
I didn't mind the first one, actually, to be honest.
The first one was better than the second one.
I think that Andrew Garfield plays a fantastic Spider-Man. I didn't like what they did with his Peter Parker.
The punk skateboarder.
Yeah, I didn't love the Peter Parker, but I really liked his Spider-Man.
Right.
And then I think that Jamie Foxx was not great as the villain in Amazing Spider-Man 2. But with all that being said, based on the level of comic book movies people have had coming out, they're like, God, I kind of would want to see that, especially after his his small role, but important role in Spider-Man No Way Home had so many people talking about him.
And the redemption of saving Mary Jane, you know, how he couldn't save Gwen Stacy. A lot of people, like, he redeemed himself in that movie.
Yeah, it was like, to me, he stole the show of that movie. I thought he was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So, but yes, Kraven the Hunter doesn't look like it's going to be saving anything.
Nope.